Finally, I get to press play on this video. God damn. When I tell y'all, I got so frustrated trying to finally record this video, get my notes together, get the lyrics to this song. Your girl done put in that work. And I get ready to start the video, and the principal comes on the intercom and tells everybody that they can't go to lunch yet. Wait till he called them again. The bell's still gonna ring, but then he gonna come on and let them know when to go to lunch. I'm like, bruh, you gonna interrupt my video? But anyway, thank y'all for joining me for this here Divine Feminine reading, the last one for the year of 2025. However, whenever you catch it, if it resonates, the readings are timeless. I'm just recording it in December of 2025. If you are a first-time viewer, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. And we're gonna get into it because I got some downloads, not as many I don't think as I had gotten for the masculines, but the message is still coming through clearly. Even in my frustration right now, I feel like this speaks to the divine feminine's journey and having been frustrated by all the twists and turns and stops and just woosah. And then the directive that just came through that stopped me when I finally thought I was at a point of doing the video came from the principal, which is an authority figure. So for many of you, you have found yourself on a journey where you know it's divinely led. You know what it is that you've been called to do. And then the divine, by way of sign, synchronicity, reading, dream, whatever way you connect with the Most High and your ancestors and spirit guides, tells you to go in a different direction, you know what I'm saying, or that it's not time or some shit like that. I think that's very much a part of the journey. So if you resonate with that, you definitely want to stick around for the rest of the message, because one song that I channeled is Use Your Heart by SWV. And the lyrics to that song is really, when I heard it recently, it in my head, as a matter of fact, it wasn't like I heard the actual song. It felt like encouragement to keep your eye on the prize, keep your head in the game, keep your heart open, as we discussed in the last Divine Feminine reading, regardless of what it looks like. So the lyrics to the song go, alone, you and I intertwine, refreshing conversation for the mind. As we stare, we both seek and hope to find real love purified. That's intimacy. That's like, when I think about that, it's actually a image in the Whispers of Love Oracle deck, where there's like two beings intertwined, and it's like they're the trunk of a tree, and when they hug, it's like they're one and become the trunk of a tree, and branches come from them. I'm gonna try to remember to post that on the community board as well as the song, so that y'all can't hear it. But it's the hook goes, use your heart and not your eyes, baby, just relax and ride. If you got time, then I got time. Free your thoughts and watch them fly. Use your heart and not your eyes. As feminists, we're being encouraged, no matter what, whether it's a relationship or just some goal, some mission that you're divinely led to carry out, not to focus so much or put so much weight on what it looks like, but to let your heart lead you. I sigh as I watch you sleeping there, So easily I did things I'd never dare. I say to myself, I'm glad that we share real love, purified. I saw as I watch you sleeping there, of course, there could be physical, like you have a counterpart whom you've been intimate with and you've watched them sleep. But also, along the journey, feminists have had to witness the state of the divine masculine energies when they weren't walking in their divinity, when they weren't awake, when they were still asleep. And allowing yourself to be flexible and adaptable to the circumstances and what it is that you've been called to do in ways you would have never if it were not for God, the divine calling. You know what I'm saying? So that is something to consider, and also know that regardless of what it looks like, you still on the right track. Now, some of you may be at that point on your journey, because it's definitely different strokes for different folks, but you may be at that point on your journey where you think it's somebody that is not. You know what I'm saying? You think your divine counterpart is somebody that's not, or you think the mission is something that it's not. So if that's the case, you want to get clear and seek clarity about that. But when you know that you know, when you done receive the signs of synchronicities, and you just know in your heart of hearts and your soul and your cells, everything in you, body, mind, soul, agrees that that's my person, right? Just know that, well, shit, by now you probably know that it's a process. And there are times where you're going to have to, more often than not, use your heart and not your eyes. I say to myself, I'm glad that we share real love purified, because this is not conditional love. This is a very unconditional, ordained love that has survived lifetimes. Use your heart, not your eyes. Baby, just relax. Okay, that's the hook again. My goodness, how it seems like yesterday. She crossed you, hurt you in the strongest way. You've hurt so long, reward come to those who cry. Real love purified. For some of you, your masculine is on the other side of or going through a breakup or some toxic encounter with a karmic counterpart. For some of you, it's not a karmic counterpart that's been recent. They still hurting from hurt and pain from a long, long time ago. But whatever it is, you are keeping them encouraged that reward comes to those who cry, who let it out, who are vulnerable, who purify. Crying is purification. It's like rain. Rain is purifying. It's cleansing. You encourage them to be emotionally expressive and let it out. And even if it's just your presence that makes them feel safe to do so, and you're not necessarily saying it. Your light in some way encourages them to be intentional about purifying themselves. Purification being that process of removing residual emotional residue. Let's see, what's the next line? Oh, that's it. They just keep singing the hook. Let me turn this heat off. This shit about to kill me. My God, today. But yeah, you're showing up in these dynamics, whatever it looks like for you. For many of you, you've been diligent, you've been consistent, you've done things wholeheartedly, even in your boundaries and your distancing and your hard stops, right? It's been from a place of love. It's been still from a place of honoring whatever divine mission God has made clear to you, right? So, as a result of that, you've been giving birth to your Muva era, Muva, Muva. And in my mind, the way I understand Muva energy is like, there's a concept of maiden mother crone, which is where the feminines are on certain points on their journey, where you're like, when you're in your youth, young woman, you're the maiden. When you mature and become a mother or of a mothering age, so to speak, even though you can have a baby at 12, that's considered the mother when you're at a certain level of maturity, and then the crone is that wise elder, right? But I think Mother embodies all of them. Like, she's still youthful. She still very much cares about her beauty, how she presents herself, beautifying her surroundings, her atmosphere. She's still nurturing and mature, and she's also wise. So Mother is giving you everything, right? She's giving you confidence and creativity and influence and leadership and authority, and that's the era that many of us are evolving into. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to even put Mother in a box, because she's just absolutely, she ain't even like that girl, she that lady, right? She is that lady. So I put here in my notes, with Use Your Heart by SWV. Even the album title of the album that this single or song is on gives a message, because this is from SWV's album New Beginning. Because you're giving birth to a new beginning, you're moving into a new era, you're giving birth to the greatest love of all time. And I came to that conclusion, or channel that message, because we've been talking about Jordan, like Michael Jordan, the GOAT, greatest of all time. And somehow one day I was thinking about that, because I kept seeing Jordan synchronicities, and I was thinking, like, it's like the greatest love of all time instead of the greatest of all time, which would then be G.L.O.A.T, right? Which is a love worth gloating over. So then I'm like, damn, what's the book definition or dictionary definition of gloat? And to gloat is to take noticeable pleasure or satisfaction in something you're proud of, openly enjoying and appreciating the love, whatever is the outcome, the product of what it is that you've been so diligently invested in and manifesting, that you're giving birth to. It's going to be something that you'll want to gloat over, that you'll be proud of, that you'll appreciate, and that others will be proud of and appreciate as well. It's gonna come with some haters though, especially if this is a relationship, because that's the type of shit people sometimes envy when they're the furthest from it, when it's something they couldn't imagine being possible in their lives, when they don't understand it and you don't go out of your way to bother to provide understanding for them. They gonna be big mad, and you supposed to pop your shit anyway. You supposed to gloat. So I had that idea, right? And then I'm listening to a mix of songs on my Spotify, and this song called G.L.O.A.T, literally the acronym G.L.O.A.T, G.O.A.T, came on, and it's by our other boy Davion Ferris, which is the brother to Sir, who we channel songs from on the channel all the time with the readings. So Davian has a song called G.L.O.A.T with a woman named Akishan, and it's off his album With Pleasure. So this is a new beginning that you're walking into, and you're doing it with pleasure. This is not somebody having to twist your arm behind your back and make you and blackmail you and push you into or convince you to do, right? You're going to do it and do it with pleasure. This new beginning, this whatever you're giving birth to, is something that you're going to commit to and continue to invest in and involve yourself with pleasure. Because you understood the assignment, and now it's time for the reward. One thing that I had a shroom trip recently, and one thing that I kept hearing was, you're a queen and you gotta accept it. You gotta accept it. They gotta accept it. It is what it is. It ain't shit you could do about it. Like, stand in your authority. Own your shit. Don't pretend to be less than the authority figure that you are, when you know damn well who you are, what you exude, what you embody. And I was laughing because I was just like, God damn. Like, what did I put in my notes? I like to journal when I take a trip. I was like, the ego. I got my notes right here while I'm acting like it has to appear out of thin air. Where did I write that at? Y'all give me a minute, because I want to quote the exact words that I said about my ego. Okay, on one of the pages that I wrote, where's the other? Oh, I put deep side. The ego dissolution of it all, except being Muva. Muva, that bitch. Ancestrally, generationally, cosmically, unequivocally, unapologetically, and irrefutably that bitch. For some of us, we've struggled with it. Like, it's on one hand, we accept it and we proclaim it, and then there's that small part that questions it. Like, y'all sure you want me to be her? You sure you want me to do it? You sure you want me to wear these shoes? You sure you want me to wear this crown? Me? Trying to be all meek and humble and shit. And we're being called out of that. We are being called to pop our shit, and also it's being confirmed that we don't have to pop our shit alone. God is sending us soul family to pop our shit with, to clap for us and people to clap for, as we all pop our shit. No longer living in this oppressed ass way like the church teaches us, to have our head bowed and give the shirt off our back and diminish our light, so to speak, so as to seem like stand-up human beings. Nah, we're moving into our mother era, and so it behooves us to just surrender to it. The masculines are surrendering to purification and freedom, and we are as well, but for us, or it's really the same, we are all being called to surrender to how dope we are and how good we can have it. and doing that by appreciation for how good we already have it, right? It was something else that I wanted to share with y'all. Oh, I use bibliomancy. Using Vernon Howard's the mystic path to cosmic power. And I ended up at page 192 and 193 when I was asking what message should I bring forth to the Divine Feminine Collective. So I'm going to read those pages to you, and I'll stop along the way with a little commentary of how I understood the text and how it applies. So on page 192, it says, truth which is in all and may be felt by all, this state is not an invention of anyone. It is already there. We have simply to discover it. That's discovering that power, that Muva energy within you. An intellectual examination of a truth does not free us inwardly. We may start with mental examination, but must dare to go beyond it to higher perception, for that alone brings about the new birth urged by the New Testament. The great danger to a seeker is his careless assumption that intellectual activity is the same as spiritual awareness. One thing that comes to mind when I hear that is, don't let people fool you with their spiritual jargon and the fact that they've read some books and can use a few buzzwords like manifestation and shadow work, and meditation and intention and intuition and all of that, to have you thinking that they're about that life, that they are actually spiritually aligned with you in some way. Because there are those who they have the book knowledge, you know what I'm saying? They have the knowledge, but they don't embody the spiritual path, the spiritual energy, and you can tell. So it says, it's no more the same than examining a grounded airplane and thinking that is the same as one flying high. There's a big difference between the two. Yeah, that's a plane, but you grounded with yours. I'm looking for the elevated aspects. I'm looking for this plane to fly, right? So it says, we must pass from thinking our life to living it. A classic book of mysticism, Theologia Germanica, confirms that we are speaking of a certain truth which it is possible to know by experience. That is gnosis. G.N.O.S.I.S. And gnosis is the goal. You want to know by experience of some sort, and turn your experience into wisdom, which is the energy of Obatala. Obatala is purity, wisdom, calm, and that is the energy that we are moving into in the year of 2026 as we move out of the year of Oya, which is the universal year 9, which is represented by change, storms. It is as if a polar bear tried to explain to his cub what it feels like to swim in the sea. The cub, being able to think only in terms of his present environment on land, could not possibly translate his parents' words into meaning. But as he plunges into the sea for himself, he knows. You can talk all day till you blue in the face to people about different things that you've learned on your journey, but people got to have their own experiences. And that's something that I've been new, but I've been really making sure to put that into practice as I provide safe space and counsel for different people. Like, yeah, I could tell you this and it may land with you a certain way, but you ain't gonna really grasp this shit until you actually experience it somehow. So that is true of the journey. And for many of us who are moving into this mother energy, that's what we've done. We've taken our experiences and we've transmuted that pain or whatever the experience was, because it didn't have to be pain. It could have been your joy, but you're transmuting it and using it as wisdom to help you further along the journey, but also to help others, which puts us in a position of, to some degree, having that wise elder energy. It says, remember a truth that a man does not understand does not exist for him. Remember, a truth that a man does not understand does not exist for him. Even though giving lip service, such as publicly declaring that inner values are all that count, he will secretly disbelieve or even scorn it. And since he cannot see this truth, he cannot be paid by it. Understanding is everything. They go on them funky ass bells. People will tell you, that's a message for somebody, the fact that their bell even went off when I said that. Because people do a lot of lip service. But if they don't understand, then there's no real connection being made. And sometimes when people don't understand, they will pretend to understand just to keep up with the interaction, or to try to exalt their ego, instead of admitting, hey, that's not something I'm familiar with. I don't understand. I want to understand. Or I don't want to understand. I'm not interested, right? So we want to make sure that we're having intimate interactions with one another and discerning when that's not the case. Which, as a divine feminine, especially getting to the point of Muva, we be knowing. Sometimes we don't call people out about it, but we be knowing. When a truth is actually understood, it changes us. It is so incredibly different from what we had imagined that we meet the surprise of our lives. It is wonderment, relief, and exaltation. That is the case for a lot of us as we are encountering the truth of how things are unfolding in our lives, in us and around us. And that is the truth for the masculines and the feminines, where we're getting clarity, especially with this past full moon in Gemini we just had, getting clarity about what's true for us. Be willing to receive higher instruction from those who know. Humble yourself enough to know that you don't know everything. The genuine mystics. There are thousands of people who cannot help you. Only a few can. Listen to them. It takes a lighted candle to light another. As divine feminine energies, you've been that initial lit candle for a lot of people. And one thing that has become clear to me is that you've influenced people that you don't even know who you've influenced and how you've influenced them, just by having the courage to shine your light and to operate from your heart space instead of your mind. The next page talks about the self-confidence of a new man. Because remember, you're giving birth to the greatest love of all time. You're giving birth to the divine masculine, who's evolving out of distorted masculine energy or toxic masculinity, who's denouncing the ways of toxic masculinity and patriarchy. And they're doing that by way of the confidence that you helped to cultivate, that you've helped to birth. So when this thing come together, why not brag? Both of y'all exude that confidence. After all the work that has been put into this situation, why not be proud of it and be public and be open and protect it fiercely? Because you're going to have naysayers. But it says, I said before that this book is for those who want to escape. One reason for escape is the battering influences of everyday life. Most people are left dizzy and exhausted by the rainstorm of people and events. Y'all, the traditional day is not how God intended us to live, just all 111. Because many of us are realizing that, but we're realizing it at the point of exhaustion. We're not meant to work these 8 to 10 hour days, and then we gotta come home and feed the kids and wash the clothes and vacuum the floor and Like, you literally don't have no time to even connect with and spend time with your family, or to breathe, to go to a yoga class. Like, the traditional work day and 2 days out the week to chill, which you're gonna spend most of that running errands, is not how God intended for us, intends for us to spend our time and spend our days. And when we are doing it, we're needed to be vigilant about cleansing our energy and protecting our energy. Make sure you're taking them Epsom salt baths at the end of the day, or saging yourself, or using your Florida water. Make sure that prayer life is on point. You want to make sure you're taking care of your spiritual hygiene, because as this says, you're exhausted by a rainstorm of people and events. You're absorbing all this energy like a sponge. I give you assurance, all can be altered. The only necessary and healthy influences are those arising within your original nature. They are the only kind of influences that need affect you. I give you assurance, the truth within is stronger than your fears. You know the truth, regardless of what it looked like. You know the truth. So don't let anything deter you from the truth that you know. A person who dislikes you, your boss at work, restlessness, shattered hopes, scary headlines, someone who seems to dominate and threaten you, the accusations of failure and defeat from your own mind, illness, social hypocrisy, a demanding government, enslaving habits, boredom, panic over the future, depression, a sense of ruin, heartache, fear of God, aloneness, loneliness, anxiety over loss of something valuable, collapse of your strength, the terrifying suspicion that life is passing you by, a nagging business complication, humiliation, utter confusion as to what to do and how to do it. The truth, which is always a part of you, is always stronger than anything else. Stronger than any of that long ass shit that I just named. And all of that at some point comes up against you to try to trick you out of the truth of what you know to be real and authentic for you. When a single idea like this is permitted its dynamic entrance, it vibrates your whole psychic system with new power, just as a single beat vibrates the whole drum. If you will study, review, reflect until you catch even a first glimpse of its mystical meaning, you will make more progress in that time than perhaps in all previous years. The incoming idea magically turns into personal meaning. All welcomed ideas change into personal meaning when we dare to seek first the kingdom of heaven. That takes me back to where we first started. Whatever it is that God told you was your mission, whether it's you the divine feminine on a twin flame journey, or you're meant to bring some ministry or some business idea, some invention, some art or whatever into fruition, that is, if it came from the divine, that is you seeking ye first the kingdom of heaven. When you prioritize it, when you stay the course, no matter how things come to make you doubt the truth of what you intuitively know. Please do not react to this as a mere religious truth you have heard before. It is that all right, but taking it as a nice but impractical church concept will do nothing for you. Take it as being as practical as apple pie. It is as useful to you as that. One exciting benefit provided by your newness is an amazing self-confidence that you never before thought possible. You laugh at things that used to bother you. You do and say and think things that would have horrified you before. What I say in one of those songs, I think it was Use Your Heart, where she said, I did things I never dare. Like, it stretches you. The journey stretches you when you are following what you know God is leading you to do, regardless of what it looks like. But now you know they are right just fine and right. A psychologist like William James would say you are disinhibited. A philosopher like Epictetus would remark that you have found yourself at last. An Eastern teacher like Shang Chuang-Tse would observe that you have, thank heaven, cut the nonsense from your mind to live as nature intended, which is from your heart. So I hope this message found y'all well. If it did not find you well, I hope that it leaves you well. I hope that it keeps you encouraged along your journey. And get down in the comments below if you resonate with it as you all are moving, as we are moving into our mother era, giving birth to the greatest love of all time. I think that's everything, y'all. Until next time. Peace.